Hello everyone. So let's now solve question 7 in it. Suppose in a village there are 4 farmers A, B, C and D, each owning 1 acre of land. They cultivate paddy, pulses and or sugar cane in their lands as follows. So farmer A uses 50% of his land for paddy. So we have farmer A. So farmer A uses, so we have paddy, pulses and sugar cane. So farmer A is using 50% of his land for paddy, 30% for pulses, and the remaining for sugarcane. So that we can write it as 5 by 10 for paddy, 3 by 10 for pulses, and the remaining that is 2 by 10 for sugarcane. Now we have farmer B. The farmer B uses 40% of her land for paddy and she divides her remaining land equally for pulses and sugarcane. So 40% that is 4 by 10 and the remaining she divides equally, so that means 3 by 10, 3 by 10. Next is farmer C. So farmer C uses the whole land for paddy only. So that means it is 10 of 10 by 10 and 0 by 10, 0 by 10. Now farmer D. So farmer D uses 30% for paddy, 30% for pulses and the remaining for sugarcane. So 30% for paddy, so that is 3 by 10, 3 by 10 and remaining that is 4 by 10. Using the above information to answer the following question. So first question 7. Suppose the area used by farmer for different crops is denoted by a row vector. So that means this is our one vector, this is our second, third and fourth, like that. So this one row is one vector. Let S be the span of the resulting 4 row vectors. Choose the correct of options. Option 1. The row vector corresponding to the area used for different crops by farmer A, B and D are linearly dependent. So option 1 is saying that these row vector for A, B and D are linearly dependent. So we have our, let's say D vector is 3 by 10, 3 by 10, 4 by 10. So that was our D vector. And we can write this as in the form of -1 times A vector plus 2 times B vector. So that is -1 times 5 by 10, 3 by 10, 2 by 10 plus 2 times 4 by 10, 3 by 10, 3 by 10. So this was our A vector and this was our B vector. So as D is a linear combination for the vector A and B, that means the vectors A, B and D are linearly dependent. Hence option 1 is true. Now option 2. The row vector corresponding to the area used for different crops by farmer A, B, C, D are linearly dependent. So one way to go is by the fact that all the vectors would be in R3 and as we have 4 vectors, so they would always be linearly dependent. Another way we can use this here is as just now we formed that D is equal to minus A plus 2B and we can also add at 0 times C. So here D is the linear combination of the all the 3 remaining vectors. So that means A, B, C, D are linearly dependent. Hence option 2 is correct. Option 3. The row vector corresponding to the area used for different crops by farmer A, B and C are linearly dependent. So that means A vector, B vector and C vector should be linearly dependent. So let's check. So we will be using the matrix method, that means we will put these vectors column wise, all these vectors for the matrix, and we will try checking the determinant. If the determinant is non-zero, then they are linearly independent. If determinant is zero, then they are linearly dependent. So 5 by 10, 3 by 10, 2 by 10, 4, 4 by 10, 3 by 10, 3 by 10, and then we have 10 by 10, 0 by 10, 0 by 10. So if we try finding the determinant of this matrix, I will be finding the determinant along this column expansion. So it would be 10 by 10 times 9 by 100 minus 6 by 100, 10 by 10 times 3 by 100. So that is 3 by 100. So as the determinant is a non-zero quantity, so that means that these vectors would be linearly independent. So option 3 is saying they are linearly dependent. So option 3 is false. Now let's check the last option. The row vector corresponding to the area used for different crops by farmer A, C and D are linearly dependent. So option 4. Again we will be using the same matrix method. So we have A, C and D. So that means 5 by 10, 4 by 10, 3 by 10, 2 by 10, 10 by 10, 0 by 10, 0 by 10, and the D vector 3, 3, 4. Now let's check the determinant of this matrix. I will be finding the determinant along this column expansion. Minus 10 by 10 times 12 by 100 minus 6 by 100. So that gives us 6 by 100 minus 6 by 100 as the determinant. So again it is a non-zero. So that means these vectors are linearly independent. Hence option 4 is also incorrect as it says linearly dependent. Let's see question 8. Suppose farmer B buys the same amount of land, 1 acre, and use it in the same ratio for different crops as she was using for her land earlier. So previously we have this data about farmer. Now as farmer B buys one more acre of land and use it in the same ratio, so these would get doubled. Now let's look at each of statement one by one. Statement 1. Farmer A sells his whole land to farmer D, and farmer D uses the land she bought from farmer A in the same ratio for different crops as farmer A was using earlier. In this new scenario, farmer B is using more amount of area of land for pulses than farmer D. So farmer A sold his land to farmer D, and he was using in the same amount of ratio that farmer A was using. So that means it would be like this. While for farmer A, these would get 0. Now, statement is telling that farmer B is using more amount of area for land for pulses than farmer D. So, for pulses, farmer B is using 3 by 10 plus 3 by 10, that is 6 by 10, while farmer D is using 3 by 10 plus 3 by 10, that is also 6 by 10. So, both of them are using the same amount of land for pulses. That means statement 1 is false, as it says farmer B is using more amount of area. Now let's look at statement 2. Farmer A sells his whole land to Farmer D, and Farmer D uses the land she bought from Farmer A in the same ratio for different crops as Farmer A was using earlier. In this new scenario, Farmer B and Farmer D are using the same amount of area of land for paddy. So for paddy, if we see, Farmer B is using 8 by 10, while Farmer D is using 8 by 10. So both of them are using the same amount of area. So that means statement 2 is correct. Now statement 3, farmer A sells his whole land to Farmer C. So now we have a different scenario. So till now it was like this. Now Farmer A sells his whole land to Farmer C, and Farmer C uses the land she bought from Farmer A in the same ratio for different crops as Farmer A was using earlier. So now the land was given to Farmer C. In this new scenario, Farmer B and Farmer C are using the same amount of area of land for paddy. So for paddy, Farmer B is using 8 by 10, while Farmer C is using 15 by 10. So clearly Farmer C is using more amount of area. For statement 3, that tell that they are using the same amount of area for the land of paddy. That is incorrect. Statement 4, Farmer A sells his whole land to Farmer C, and Farmer C uses the land she bought from Farmer A in the same ratio for different crops as Farmer A was using earlier. It is the same. In this new scenario, Farmer B is using more amount of area of land for paddy than Farmer C. We just now looked at that Farmer B is using 8 by 10 ratio for paddy, while Farmer C is using 15 by 10. So Farmer C is using more amount of land, not Farmer B. While option says Farmer B is using more amount, so it is wrong. So the correct statement would be statement 2. So that is our answer. Thank you.